Welcome to Not That Girl Anymore, part of the Liminal Network. I'm your host, Dawn Bouillion. This is more than a podcast. It's a sisterhood. We're reclaiming our voices, our worth, and our lives. One story, one truth, one brave step at a time. Hey, friends. Welcome back to Not That Girl Anymore. I'm your host, Dawn Bouillion, trauma therapist and coach, and the founder here of Embrace Your Brave. And this episode is part of our Braving the Holidays series, where we're talking honestly about the holiday season and what that can be like when you come from complex situations or painful losses or emotionally unsafe family systems, and how to protect yourself and protect your peace while you're healing. So today's episode is really for anyone who feels like that knot in your stomach. As soon as Thanksgiving passes and the holiday season just comes around, it's like our body just knows it's that time of year. And for some of us, that's really heavy. Other people might be posting their matching pajamas and their cozy family gatherings. And then many of us are like quietly bracing ourselves, just wondering, how am I going to make it through another Christmas with a narcissist or inside this unhealthy family system? And if that's you, I want you to hear this. You're not alone, and you're not being dramatic, and you're not making this shit up either. Because for survivors, Christmas isn't like peaceful. It's heavy. It's that emotional tension. It's the guilt. So much guilt at Christmas time. It's the exhausting feeling of walking on eggshells. And so today we're just going to kind of talk about some of that, what that can look like, and why the holidays can just feel extra hard. So let's talk about this family system thing. Narcissistic family system. Remember, with a narcissist, it's not just occasional selfishness. It's this pattern of emotional manipulation and control. And that can involve a deep need for attention and admiration, low empathy or no empathy, a lack of accountability, the use of guilt or shame for power, and the punishment of boundaries. So in a narcissistic family system like this, everyone organizes around the emotional danger instead of emotional safety. And that's why we call these dysregulated family systems. The families are adapting to survive instead of connection. And that's when those roles emerge. And we've talked about this a little before on the podcast. We shift into those old roles of the golden child, where that's the idealized one or the protected one. And at Christmas time, this can look like, looking at the person that seemingly has all their life together, and that kind of gives evidence that the family's good or okay. And then we have the scapegoat, the one that kind of just takes the blame for everything. We just blame that person for the family's dysfunction. And then we have the caretaker and the peacekeeper that just wants to manage the emotions and make sure everybody's happy and good. And then the lost child is the one that's kind of the invisible one. They're emotionally invisible, sometimes physically invisible, right? A lot of times for us women, we fall into these roles like the caretaker or the scapegoat. And the caretaker learns, if I can just keep everybody calm, then I matter. I'm important. And the scapegoat learns if I can just absorb the blame, then I can survive. But both of those roles kind of revolve around the same belief. My needs don't matter. My needs come last. And during the holidays, it's like this intensifies the narcissistic system because the expectations just skyrocket. Okay, so this is the season to be grateful, keep the peace, don't create conflict, smile for the pictures, right? But narcissistic families operate on control. So, where you go, how long you stay, they want to have a say in all of that. And it's all about maintaining the image. So, it's about performance over authenticity. They want to look good. They want everything to look perfect. They want you to act perfect. It's all about the image. And then it's also all about the attention, right? Dominating the energy in the room, the attention in the room. And your nervous system recognizes that this isn't safe. So even if no one says anything out loud, your body knows and your body feels it. And this is what we call trauma reactivation. It's like the past patterns light up again, even if the danger is subtle. And this is why you might feel anxiety or numbness or hypervigilance or emotional exhaustion. Those reactions are not weakness. Your body remembers before your mind can even make sense of it. And here's a truth we don't really talk about enough with narcissists. Narcissists hate joy. They don't like joy. They don't like seeing other people genuinely happy. In narcissistic systems, emotions revolve around them. So your happiness means that you're shifting that attention away from them, which feels like they're losing control. So your joy removes the spotlight off of them. Your joy mirrors what they are lacking. So a narcissist, they hide that deep emotional emptiness that they have. But your joy exposes that in them. And rather than heal, they try to dim your light, or they dim the light around them because you're mirroring to them what they're lacking. And joy requires vulnerability. Like connection and happiness requires openness. Narcissists avoid that because it feels unsafe. And here's the other thing. Joy makes you harder to control. A joyful woman sees things clearly, and she sets boundaries, and she risks the truth. So a narcissist is going to respond to something like that with criticism. Have you noticed that? Sarcasm, shame, emotional sabotage, creating chaos. Anybody? How many of us have experienced someone just creating complete chaos before these special events happen? That's real. And then diminishing your excitement. So you come in happy, excited, joyful, and they do something to diminish it, right? And it's not because you did anything wrong, but it's because your joy threatens their control. Your joy is not the problem. Your joy is actually a sign of healing. So, many of us survivors show up to the holidays kind of stuck in that trauma response of fawning or people pleasing for safety. And for some of us, that can look like overgiving or over apologizing or managing moods or silencing ourselves or what we need. Because your nervous system learned, if I can keep everyone happy, then I can stay safe. And then we have that cognitive dissonance, right? Two different thoughts. This is my family. I should want to be here. And being here hurts me. It hurts. So we have that I should want to be here because this is my family, and being here hurts me. And both of those things can exist. And the tension there creates the confusion and the shame. And then we start thinking, maybe I'm the problem. Am I too sensitive? Was it really that bad? And why can't I just move on? But here's what the truth is about that. Love does not equal emotional safety. So just because you love these people and feel like you should want to be there, it doesn't mean it's safe to do that. Both things can exist at the same time. So here's a couple scenarios maybe to think about, and maybe you've seen this. How about when you start sharing something vulnerably with the group? Or maybe you're sharing something you're excited about, or sharing something, that you've done that you are, an accomplishment or something. And someone else just steps in and minimizes it. Yeah. How does that feel? Not fun, right? But very common during the holidays. Or let's say conflict just erupts, like shit hits the fan. Somebody loses their mind and creates complete chaos, right? And when everything calms down, everyone just pretends like nothing happened. It never gets talked about, never gets discussed, never gets repaired, and we all just act like none of that just happened. Anybody? Or then there's the triangulation, right? The family members kind of dragging you into their side of things or into alliances with that, right? Well, did you see so and so said this and that? And then we're triangulating, or people are trying to draw us into their side of things. And when you say no to that, especially in our healing, when we're learning to say no, because we're learning to say no, right? And when you set boundaries, then suddenly you're the bad guy. Now you're the villain. Wow, Dawn, you've changed. You're not the same anymore. You're really selfish. And like, you're ruining Christmas. Has anybody been told that before? Right? The one person that's actually saying no and saying, no, I'm not going to keep doing this anymore. You're the one that's ruining Christmas. Or how about this one? People just come dump all of their emotional baggage onto you, right? They just tell you everything. They just dump all kind of shit on you and don't check on you. Nobody checks on you. And then when you go to protect yourself in that moment, then you get flooded with that guilt. And that guilt isn't just your conscience. That guilt is what we've been conditioned to do in that moment. But here's what we know about healing. Healing doesn't come from staying in those environments. It doesn't come from endurance, right? Or just enduring those things. Healing comes from learning to protect yourself, from having emotional boundaries, from lowering our expectations in those environments, and choosing safety over image. So boundaries in this moment can sound like, I'm not going to talk about that. Or I'm going to be here for 2 hours and then I'm leaving. Or our family is changing that tradition this year. Or simply no. Or no, thank you. And remember, boundaries are not punishments. Boundaries are how we love ourselves and other people at the same time. And they're how we care for our nervous system. So, how do we protect our peace during the holidays? This is one thing I had to really work on. Lower your expectations. Let's stop going into these situations expecting something to be different and just release that hope for change. Because it's kind of that hope that keeps putting us right back in those situations where we continue to get hurt. And so lowering our expectations can keep us from being hurt again. And then number 2, limit your exposure. Arrive late if you want. Leave early and skip it all together if that's necessary. Limit your exposure. There's nothing that says you have to expose yourself to harm. No, you don't. Create your own thing. Create your own ritual, right? Have a chosen family. It's so okay to choose the family that you want to spend your holidays with and that bring you joy and happiness. And sometimes maybe that's just you, right? Just a quiet celebration. Whatever you need in that moment, you get to choose that. And then, of course, boundaries, 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 boundaries with no explanation. No is a complete sentence. And then learn how to regulate yourself. So do some breathing, do some grounding before you go into these environments if you go into them. And then afterwards, figure out what you need to release that emotional tension, right? Move around, go for a walk, rest. Choose what your healing needs to look like. And so, yeah, if this holiday season like increases your anxiety and increases your depression or your panic or your emotional shutdown, then take care of you, whatever that looks like. Okay. That's not like a willpower issue. It's a nervous system overwhelm that we need to start paying attention to, and we need to start taking care of it. Because loving ourselves is taking care of ourselves. And so this time of year, that might mean schedule you a therapy appointment. And if you already see a therapist, schedule you some extra appointments. If that's what this season calls for, you do that. If your anxiety is through the roof, then maybe that means you need to look into some medication. Medication is not failure. It's medical care for an overwhelmed system. You have to do what you need to do to take care of you. Okay? There's no shame in that. That's wisdom. You suffering unnecessarily is unnecessary. When we have things that help, let's use what helps. So, extra support doesn't mean that you're not healed. It means you're actually choosing yourself, and we celebrate that. So, let's be gracious to ourselves this holiday season. And healing can look like rest, it can look like tears, right? Like I've said before, one minute we might be crying on the bathroom floor. And I'm telling you, this time of year, it's going to happen. It's heavy. It's hard. We're grieving. And some days In the next moment, it could be we're dancing in the kitchen, screaming at the top of our lungs some Christmas song, right? And I encourage that. And that's human and that's good. And it might also look like just some quiet time, sitting there looking at the Christmas tree, reading a good book, being kind to yourself. What is it that you need this Christmas? It's not about performance. It's about tenderness with you. So listen, if Christmas is heavy or the holiday season is heavy, you are not failing. You're reacting normally to an abnormal history. And you deserve support and you deserve peace. So whether peace comes through your boundaries or therapy or medication or quietness or being with chosen family, you get to choose that. Your healing matters more than any holiday expectation. And choosing yourself is not abandoning others. It's coming home to yourself because you matter. And your healing matters, and your story matters, and your pain matters, and your dreams matter. And you're not that girl anymore. Hey, friend, just a quick note. I am a licensed therapist, but this podcast isn't therapy. It's not meant to diagnose or treat anything. It's here to offer you support, encouragement, and real conversation. If you're struggling, please reach out to a trusted professional. You are not alone, and you are so worthy of healing. Even if your voice shakes, keep using it. Your healing matters. If you're ready to go deeper, you can book a session by clicking the link in the show notes or visiting our website, embraceyourbrave.org, to learn more about our therapy and trauma-informed coaching options. Let's explore how we can walk this journey together. You are not alone. Embrace your brave, sis. You're not that girl anymore.